Hi, welcome to Garden Hands. Today we have another really exciting video. It's actually going to be more exciting in the spring when all of this is blooming, but I got my bulb orders. So the delivery truck delivered my bulb order recently and it's been sitting on my porch ready to go. I'm really excited. This is the biggest order that I've placed. We have over 800 bulbs going in the ground this year, which is crazy. So I've enlisted Mom. She's behind the camera and will show up a little bit later, but we'll talk about the bulbs that we bought, the tools that we're going to need today, and then show you the areas where we're going to start putting bulbs. I imagine this is going to be a multi-day project. Here I ordered several different types of bulbs. In the past I've just stuck with daffodils and tulips, so this year I'm expanding it a little bit more, and I thought I'd just run through really quick what I have and what I'm excited about putting in this year. So the first thing and the biggest order I placed this year was daffodils, and they do remarkable in our area. They are rated, I think, from zone 3A to 10. We're in a zone 4, so they tolerate our very cold winters, and they're also deer and squirrel resistant, and we live right next to a woods. We haven't had a ton of problems with it yet, but I don't want to chance it. The other nice thing about daffodils is that they do naturalize, or most of them to my knowledge. So I'm planning to put a lot of them along the wood line so that over the years they'll naturalize and I'll have more and more for more bouquets and just a beautiful spring show. I also ordered a lot of tulips this year, and I have some new varieties as well as some varieties that I just buy every year to replenish what I've already planted in the garden. Tulips are tolerant down to zone 3A, so they take our cold winters. However, they're not quite as prolific as daffodils. If I plant 100 tulips, they'll all bloom the next spring, but by the second year, only about 80% of them will bloom. So I like to buy a handful or so, a couple bags or so, to replenish some of the gardens where I already have some tulips. The other nice thing about tulips is that they come in lots of different heights. They come in a ton of different colors. There's some that are doubles, so they almost look like a peony. And they have a long flowering or blooming window. There's some that are early and they go all the way to late. So they kind of cover the whole spring spectrum. This year I'm adding some allium bulbs. I haven't really planted those in the past. They're part of the onion family and they are deer resistant. I think the fragrance of them kind of detracts deer from coming towards them, so that's a positive. The design of alliums is just really neat and not something that's really replicated by any other flowers, so I'm excited to add a few more varieties to my garden this year. I planted hyacinth for the first time last year, and I am adding a few more this year. They turned out great. They're really cute. They're not really tall enough for cut flowers, but they do have an amazing fragrance. So what they lack in height for cutting, they really make up in just adorableness. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but they're really cute as a border plant. So I'm adding a few more of those this year. And I did read something interesting. The first year they bloom and they're very tightly bunched together, the flowers, and then each subsequent year after that they get a little bit more free-flowing and a little wider and more spaced out with the blooms. So they aren't going to look quite as neat and compact after the first year, but that's all right. I'll take any bloom I can get in the spring. And the last type of bulb that I purchased this year is called Spanish Bluebells, and they're kind of a naturalizing woodland type of bulb. Again, I'm going to put these out in the woods and they can just take over. I didn't ask Mom and Dad about that. It's not my woods, it's their woods, but I think that'll be really pretty in the spring just to see this really pretty color of blue, and we'll see how they do. So the varieties that I'm actually planting, I have a couple in here that I didn't write down because I forgot I bought them and put them in my garage, my secret storage space. So I broke my varieties down into different color groups. And the white flowers that I got this year were pink charm daffodils. And they're white with a pink cup. So I think that'll be kind of interesting to add to the bouquets where we had mostly white last year and yellow. I also got the white lion daffodils. They are white with creamy colored ruffles. We had purchased these last year and they were in our bouquets earlier this spring, but we like them so much that Mom also got some this year. And the last white flower I got was Mount Hood. And again, Mom got more of these because she liked what they looked like last year. I have some of these in my garden as well. I have quite a few pink flowers. Pink is definitely the color I lean to in the spring. I have the fondant hyacinth, and they're pink and white, so they look like little stars blooming on the flower, and again, they're really fragrant. I also purchased Angelique. This is a flower that I have along the front of my house, and I just bought them to replenish where I already have planting. They are a double pink flower. Another pink tulip that I purchased was Menton. Again, I've purchased this one in the past, and I'm adding it into the front flower bed. This one's a little bit taller and it blooms later. So this one actually gets up to 25 inches tall. It's very stately. A new one to me is called Much Niceness, and this is a blend of pink, purple, and yellow tulips. They bloom mid-season, and they get about 18 to 24 inches tall. And the last tulips that I put into my pink category is called Pillow Talk, and we're actually going to be planting these in the video. This is a mix of pink and yellow. They're mid to late, and they're on the smaller side. They're 16 to 18 inches tall, but they're just a nice soft color combination. I have a couple blue or purple bulbs that I purchased. The first is the Globemaster Allium, and these are large. They get 3 feet tall. They're late blooming. They're kind of after the daffodils, before the peonies. And then the Spanish Bluebells are also in the blue-purple category. They're late blooming, and they're just short little guys. They're 14 to 18 inches tall. And the last color category that I have is yellow. So the first one is Akebono or Akebono. It's a yellow tulip, and I believe it has kind of a red outlining to the petals. Then I have the Cassata Daffodil. These are white and yellow. Instead of having the cup in the center, it's flat. So it looks like a double daffodil, but not roughly. It's just got 2 layers of petals. And 1 layer is white and 1 layer is yellow. So I thought these were really neat. And then the last daffodil is called Top 40, and this is a mix of 40 different daffodils. This is what we're going to be planting along the wood line, and it should give us a nice variety of a bunch of different daffodils. It is a chilly October morning, and Mom has agreed to help me, so I'm going to put her to use because this is very cold. It rained last night, so it's going to be a wet, muddy, cold morning of planting, but it'll be good to get it done. We may or may not use our Felcos. I have a couple plants that I need to get out of the flower bed before we can start planting. I'm going to use my gloves because it is going to be muddy today. And then we're also going to use the 20-volt drill. Thank you, Mike. This has been an invaluable tool that I was not going to buy myself, and he so generously purchased it for me, along with several different sizes of bulb augers. This is the 3-inch size. I think it'll accommodate all the different size bulbs that we're going to be using today. But this is a phenomenal tool. I use it all the time, not only for bulb planting, but for just planting cans of flowers or transplanting. It saves so much effort getting on the ground and using your trowel, especially if it's been dry like we have been this year, and it's just kind of miserable to dig. So this, I've been running through the batteries on this for sure. So again, thank you, Mike. You are going to make all of this possible, and hopefully as painless as possible. So we're going to head over to the memory garden. It has a few things that I have not cleaned out yet, and unfortunately it doesn't look great. It's been freezing the last couple nights. Things are done and need to get pulled out, and then we're going to start laying the bulbs out and planting them. So we got our game plan. We are going to pull out the rest of the annuals that I have in the memory garden. Petunias, some sweet potato vines in the pot, and then trim down the dahlia, which we dug out the next day. So I have 250 bulbs that we're going to be putting in the memory garden this fall. And my plan was, because I know this isn't going to cover the entire garden space, to create little pockets of flowers. And we did try to keep them within their same variety. So we had a pocket of daffodils in one spot, a pocket of alliums in another. And what we thought would be the easiest process was just walking around and placing the bulbs on the ground where we thought they might look okay. So we have all of the bulbs placed where we think we want them. Mom has gone through and kind of cleared off the mulch. Most of the bulbs were from Colorblends. I did pick up a few packs from the grocery store or a farm store when I was walking by and was tempted. But the vast majority were from Colorblends. They have an awesome online website. They ship them to you when it's time to plant them in your zone. And all of the bulbs we have had fantastic luck with. They've all bloomed the next year. The quality's great. The size is awesome. So I would highly recommend. I do order pretty early summer, maybe late May. We're going to get planting. We plant the tulips 5 inches deep and the daffodils 6 inches deep. I'm going to switch out my auger because this one is more than we need and it will take much longer to dig through the soil. So we're going to switch out the auger and get planting. You want to plant the pointy end up. That's where the stalk will grow out of, and the bottom is where the roots are going to come. So pointy side up, flat side down. When I plant these, I just dig a bunch of holes. I put the bulbs in, and then I dig more holes based on how many I wanted to plant in the area. There's not a whole lot of science that goes on when I'm planting. In previous years, I did throw fertilizer in the bottom of the holes. I don't have any fertilizer, so I'm not going to worry about it this year. I did notice on Colorblends website, they said the bulbs have everything they need to grow the first year. If you do want to fertilize, throw some fertilizer out in the spring when you start to see the stalks come up. So I think we're good. So in the memory garden, we planted the Pillow Talk variety of tulips, which were the pink and yellow mix. Planted the 25 Angelique tulips, which were the double pink tulips, and the Cassata Daffodils. These were the really pretty daffodils that were split cup. They had the yellow inner petals and then ivory colored outer petals. And we also put some of the Globemaster alliums in this garden. We have half the bed done. Now the second half is going to be a little bit more tricky because we have weed fabric under some of it, and I'm hoping I can just cut it and fold it so that we can get the bulbs in here. We may throw a bulb into another one so we don't need as big of a square. All right, Mom didn't believe me that I could use my Velcro, so I still have to prove her wrong. Oh, well, there's the edge of it. So I'm just gonna fold it under and give enough room so we can plant 5 of these bulbs here. Otherwise, same process. We got the memory garden all planted, 250 bulbs. Awesome, thank you, Mom. It's gonna look amazing in the spring. Can't wait to show everybody. Can't wait to see it myself. Now we're over on the north side of our property. This is Mom and Dad's woods, but I'm gonna ask for forgiveness, not permission, and plant along here. Mostly daffodils. I think it'll be beautiful. They'll get to enjoy it in the spring, and hopefully these flowers will naturalize and it'll just be a carpet of daffodils that join all of the woodland flowers that come out in the spring too. So we're not gonna talk, we're just gonna start planting. We have another 250 bulbs, so I don't think the battery and the drill is going to last that long, so we'll get the trowels out or we'll just call it a day. It's been super successful. We've planted almost 500 bulbs by the end. Well, that's a wrap on the first day of planting bulbs, and we got almost 300 bulbs put in. We ran out of battery. Oh shoot. But the sun came out, it was really nice, and we just have probably a couple more days left. Mom might come back tomorrow, so that would be awesome. Things are going really well. The ground's pretty dry, but that's to be expected after the year we've had. Next year in the spring, it's gonna be amazing, and I can't wait to show you. Thanks for watching our video. If you have any questions, please let us know. If you have a good source where you get bulbs from, we're curious and maybe try them out next year. Please hit the like button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye.